In the documentary, we see how Nicole and OJ seemingly started their relationship. He swept her off her feet from go. Were there any problems at that point in time?
You know what, I don't remember.
Yeah.
I just remember being in her bathroom and all of a sudden, we were just getting ready. And I opened up her drawer and I saw the very young Polaroid picture of her with a black eye. And I said, oh my God, Nick, I said, you got a black eye, what happened? And she says, no, she goes, it was the makeup artist from the film that he's working on. And I said, oh my God, it looks so real, and I threw it right back in the drawer. Not thinking anything of it, because like I said, I've been saying for years and years, I mean, we did not come from a violent home. We did not come from a home where our parents were screaming and yelling at each other. I never heard my parents yelling at each other.
Fight.
They didn't fight,
No.
you know, and if they did, it was really behind closed doors in a safe or something, you know, because you didn't hear anything. So that was like the first thing that I'd ever seen.
And then she was covering it up for him.
And then she was covering it up.
Yeah.
And you know who said it best?
Who did?
And it was in Ron Hardy. For me, he said it perfectly. He said, Nicole didn't share her abuse because she wanted to protect her family and friends. And that made all the sense in the world for me. And that was when we started filming this documentary, he said that. And I just thought, wow, you're right, so simple, but I never ever thought of it. And it made all the sense in the world.
You could just feel it when somebody has chemistry for another person. And that's what it felt like.
What was your first impression of him?
He was very chivalrous. He was very friendly. He was very family oriented. We did everything together as a family. First impression, I was 13. And we were up in Buffalo. We had just met him. They'd been dating about, 8 months or something?
Months, yeah, we went up to Buffalo together.
Yeah.
And he says, I'm going to score a touchdown, Minnie, and this one is for you or something. And he scored a touchdown, and everybody cheered, and it was just overwhelming. We did not know football. We didn't know who he was. We had a family full of girls and a German mom, and I think the only person that knew who he was our father. And they didn't meet until, I think, after we had met him.
Yeah.
It just seemed like the type of man that knew what to say and when to say it and how to say it. You know?
Well, he spoiled me the first day I met him, I think when I was 7 or 8 years old. And I said, I want a Barbie house.
And he got you that Barbie
Got me
house?
with that Barbie house.
Wow.
That was my first impression. I was like, I like him.
Yeah.
I'm 7 or 8 years old.
Of course, so
you
naturally
know?
you would gravitate to someone that's going to get you your dream Barbie house.
Right.
E.T. was actually at their wedding in 1985.
All my life I wanted to be a father. I never really thought about being a husband. And I thought I had given up the opportunity to watch my kids grow until you came into my life and you made this house a home, you brought my kids in, you brought love into my house.
What do you remember about that day?
It's the happiest day of her life.
God, she was so happy. She looked so beautiful. I mean, I think Nicole really thought he was being baptized that day. So that was like a really big deal for her because I think she felt like her life and everything was going to change.
Right.
He was being baptized. It was a clean start and just a fresh start to a new life. And unfortunately, that didn't happen.
No.
She was so excited and happy to see everybody, and she was like, "Oh, there's Ralphie, our brother, you know,
Right.
and Margaret, Mel, our half sister, and people were congregating in her master suite, watching her get ready.
We watched her get ready and helped her get ready.
And I love this one shot of the video where she's like brushing her teeth in her wedding dress with this beautiful diamond necklace, and I'm just going, who are you? Like, who is this woman?
Oh, your sweet sister.
She was so happy. What I remember of that day, I remember 2 distinct days. After the ceremony was done, and I started to cry. There's a picture of it, and I think Sydney and Justin have it. And she's holding my face, and she's like, "Oh, don't cry." And
You're gonna make me cry.
I know. And then I remember "We Are Family" came on.
Yeah.
The song, and we all danced in a circle. Mom, Dad, all of us, and just turned around and
Right.
So
we are
life
family.
I forgot about that.
Life was seemingly...
So every time I hear that song, I'm like, oh, it takes me back.
And we played that at our mother's memorial.
Oh my gosh.
We are family.
Incredible.
She always thought he was going to hurt her. She always knew it.
I think in retrospect, the honeymoon phase was very obvious.
Yeah, flowers everywhere.
Yes,
All the time.
I had morning calls with Nicole, and she would say, "Oh, OJ went crazy again last night, and he did this, and he did that, and he beat in my door. But ha ha ha, I'm gonna go for a run." And I think that was one of the nights of the 911 call.
911 emergency. Can you get someone over here now to 325 Gretna Green? He's back.
The 911 calls, it astounds me that there was an acquittal when there was so much evidence, just mounds of evidence against him with numerous 911 calls. How does it feel to hear those calls back, and for the sake of this series? Are you all even able to?
It was the first time I heard it.
Really?
Yeah, I could never listen to it. It was something that I could not hear, I could not listen to. It was too painful for me. And so I heard it for the first time.
Wow.
It was
Yeah.
terror.
It was
Fear.
Oh, it was just haunting. It was horrible.
Screaming, yelling, and she's saying
Yeah.
things like, "OJ, enough! Like the kids are upstairs, they're sleeping. OJ, stop!"
Or even, he's
hear
gonna
it.
kill me. He's gonna kill me.
He's gonna kill me.
And you know who he is. You've been here before.
You've been here before. And you know, for all the operators, the 911 operators, God bless you all. But when the lady asked, oh, is he the sportscaster or something? It's like, does that even matter? That really bothered me.
Yeah.
It's like, that shouldn't even matter. That's so insignificant.
Hopefully that will spark a greater conversation
Well, it needs
moving
to,
forward,
you know.
and especially now that this will be out in the series.
Yeah.
I think this is perfect timing too, because we are in a generation where, or like in an era where we have social media. We're talking about abuse. We're talking about mental health issues. We're talking about addictions and suicide. We're talking about these things that 30 years ago, nobody was talking about it.
Yeah.
And
There's
now,
exposure.
yeah, and now we have, in our culture today, like we're 3 decades in.
Yeah.
But there's still so much more that
There's
needs
so-
to be done.
so much
and,
more.
you know, the hotline has answered over 7 million calls to date.
Incredible.
Yeah, but then they said, okay, well, what about all the calls that we couldn't answer because there was just so many of them? So I just always tell people, you know, get involved with your local shelter, get involved with, you know, with the hotline, with a shelter, with, you know, with an organization that works with domestic violence, because I mean, there is a need. And I tell people, learn everything you can about the cycle of violence, the power and control of one human being over the other, and the verbal, the emotional, the psychological abuse, the chipping away at somebody's self-esteem. You're stupid, you're ugly, you're worthless. Escalates into the physical violence, the hitting, the kicking, and the punching. And then there's the honeymoon phase. Oh baby, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
The gifts, the flowers, and all the excuses. And then all of a sudden it'll start again. But the real education came from going to the shelters. I traveled to more shelters around the country and visited more women and the children in the shelters and became educated from them, from their experiences. And that's what educated me.